What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing. You guys love these things. I don't know why. So yesterday I drove down to the post office and I picked up this package that came 2 days ago, but they didn't leave it on the door or anything because it's too expensive. It's just too good of a package. And I mentioned this yesterday on Instagram. I had a really crazy day yesterday, so I didn't even get to open the package. Now, me and you, we all know what's in it. You guys read the title, you saw the thumbnail, you know what it is. It's my SHMA, well, unless it's like completely something different, in which case this is going to be a shocking, like, mystery box. No, it's not a mystery box. I know exactly what it is. It's my SHMA Shin Gojira Awakening version. Can't wait to get them out. But yesterday I said on Instagram, I was like, crazy day, I gotta tell you guys. So I don't know. It's not really relevant because this video is not recorded day of, but if you saw me yesterday, if I recorded a face cam video yesterday, you would have seen just like I was worn out. And it's because I went to school, did school, rode my bike home, everything normal, you know, drove down to the post office, picked up my package, came back home. When I was going there though, I was looking out the window and there's this dog playing Frogger in the middle of the street, like a really busy street. Dog is darting in and out of cars. I thought I was gonna watch it die. And now when I get back, I like park my car and I get out and I'm walking, and then all of a sudden I just see, you know, the dog running past. I'm like, oh shoot. So I must have spent like 2 or 3 hours chasing this dog, trying to catch it. It's my neighbor's dog. Like, me and a whole bunch of other kids trying to catch it, and then eventually me and the neighbors trying to catch it. It was, oh man. I mean, I didn't have really anything better to do other than make videos, but I don't know, it was pretty crazy. Story would have been a lot better had I recorded this yesterday, because then you would have physically seen like how freaking worn out I was. But nah, I didn't want to record a video yesterday. Anyways, let's get the package out. So here it is. It's a huge box. And I don't know. I guess I'll just waste no time and I'll get this bad boy right open. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if I actually had it in my last unboxing, my good knife. I don't have it anymore because my friend took it and he said, I'm going to sharpen it for you, and then I still haven't gotten it back. But let's check this out. Alright, let's see what we got. This box is huge, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Oh, now we solved the mystery. It's such a huge box because this box is inside of the first box. Now, I did have to buy this through a third party because I didn't have, I missed, I sort of missed my opportunity to get it from the Monsters, like the website, from any of their direct listings. So I had to get this one through a third party. And so if anything's like broken right off the bat, I'm not going to blame Monsters like a lot of people would do. I'm going to blame the third party, and I'm going to get my money back. And you might be like, why are you mentioning this? I mean, I can hear something moving around inside of the box, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing. But either way, don't drop it because it's expensive. Here's the SH Monsters packaging. Alright, let's open it up. I don't remember what the box looks like for this guy. I don't know if he's just like on display like the first Shin Godzilla was, or if this one's just like a closed box, no display. So let's check it out. I guess we'll find out. Or watch it not even be the right figure. No, it's the right package. If you're like, what are you looking at? Show us. It's just Shin Godzilla. It's just the logo. It just says Godzilla, the 4th Awakening version. Alright, so I got a box inside of a box inside of a box, and this one's kind of jammed in there. I can't seem to get it out, so... I can see it. I can see it in the reflection. There it is. Okay, so he's not on display. There it is. It's actually a really cool box. I like this box. There he is, Godzilla, roaring and shooting his atomic breath with the split jaw. I don't know, pretty cool. They didn't even. Oh, I was like, did they even use the beam effect, or did they put a beam effect? On the monitor, it looks like they just put one, but it's the one that they actually have with the figure. On the side, you have his nice bowling pin position. Pretty iconic. Here's just kind of a wraparound. And then on the back, you have a little bit of display pictures, stuff we've seen before. You have just Godzilla. You have the movie accurate version of the tail, which is the normal tail, and then you have the stylized version with the open face, which is not movie accurate, but doesn't matter. So there you go. There's Shin Godzilla. Let's check it out. I'm a little worried because I can hear something inside that's, you know, not supposed to be moving that is. So we'll have to find out what that is, or maybe I'm delusional. I'm pretty delusional a lot of the time, so it could just be that. Or the figure's totally destroyed, who knows? If it is, don't worry, I bought a warranty on it, so I can just send it back. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to, no, I'm just kidding, I can't see anything. Oh, that's actually cool, okay. So when you open it up, oof, I love that paint smell. When you open it up, you got the Monster Planet poster. That's awesome. I also recently just ordered the Monster Planet Godzilla as well from SHMA. Not a big fan of the design, because, or at least the design in figure form, because it just doesn't have a lot going on. It's just kind of one tone color, with not too much detail, so I don't know, it was a cheap figure, so it's not like I'm missing out on that much. Also, got the SH Monster Arts Mechagodzilla 1974 coming, so that's going to be awesome. My favorite Mechagodzilla incarnation, can't wait to get that figure. Alright, let's take this guy out. Fingers crossed. Alright, I'm just going to start getting this out of the way, the base stand for the effects. Next thing, I'm going to pull these effects out of the way. I'm going to try and hold this in place. Pull the effects themselves out of the way. Godzilla can go back down for a minute. So here's the effects. You have the nice purple beams, the full atomic breath, and the tail beam. You have the fire breath. You have the fire breath space. You have the stylized open mouth tail. You can't really see it in this video, but whatever. Here's the split jaw, and here's the top of the head split jaw. So overall, it looks really good. Can't wait to pull them out and check them out. Here's to the figure, though, because hopefully he's good. I'm not sure what the rattling around inside the packaging was, because, man, everything's in good order. He looks really nice. So you have your instructions right here. Those are, you know, worthless. Actually, I feel like the instructions kind of have a stronger smell of paint than Godzilla himself does. Now I realize I didn't really show you guys Godzilla in the packaging very well, but there he is. Just like the original release of Shin Godzilla. Ooh, he is heavy. Heavy for a toy. It's not a toy. So I'm gonna pull him out, and then we'll see how good he is. Get the protective sleeves off of him. So I like how much there is on the tail. Alright, pulled it off. There you go. Looks pretty cool. The purple isn't as glossy as I thought it might be, and he certainly is not broken in, so the articulation is really stiff. I'm gonna have to break it in, just like I did with the original guy. Translucent tail looks really nice. I like the purple. Actually, both tail pieces are purple, but it appears that the accessory tail piece is a little bit more purple. This one especially looks very red on camera, but it is purple in real life. Now he is purple all over his dorsal fins, which is, you know, movie accurate to the atomic breath version. However, like I said, it's not as glossy or as sparkly as I would have liked it to be. It's more of a dull purple actually than I would have thought it would be. But it's all right. I don't have any problems with it. I'm just looking for like any, you know, paint issues. I haven't heard actually any people complaining too much about the paint on this guy. You can see some of the purple is, I don't know if you'll actually see it on the camera because it's really subtle. You can't see it on the camera. But there is a lot of purple worked into his chest area, but it's very subtle. And not so much on his legs or anything. I'm not actually sure if there is any purple on his legs in the movie. There is purple worked in all through his chest, and of course on his big gill slits right here. You can sort of see that in the video. The head is, it's a head. It looks fine. I popped his top head right off. So this isn't the translucent head. It doesn't appear. I think the other one is the translucent one, but this one is fine, I guess. I'm just being careful with him because I know how fragile this figure is. That might be a little bit of a problem. It's just kind of a loose joint. I get why they did it, so that you don't like force it apart and break it when you're trying to put the other head on, but it is really loose. All right, so there you go. So it appears that his top head doesn't open that wide like it does on the other figure. Neither does this bottom jaw. This bottom jaw won't open as wide as it does on the original figure. Which is okay because it's that way so that you can take it apart. Now, in terms of articulation, it appears to be similar to the first figure. This guy is really stiff compared to the first one that I got right out of the box. I'm almost worried to mess around with this neck joint right here to try and push it back into position like it, so it looks a little better. I'm almost worried to do that because I'm worried that the dorsal fins on the back of his neck are going to wind up colliding. So there you go. It looks like I got the head into position a little more. It looks a little better that way in my opinion. In terms of articulation, you can have some up and down motion with his head. They're all ball joints with these Monster Arts figures, side to side. You can have them look up and look side to side. You don't get as much actual articulation with the head itself because it is an accessory piece, so you can take it apart. Now, in terms of the body, it appears to be the same as the original Monster Arts release, where you just have the big shoulder joint right here. You have one joint coming out of it, and then you have this, once it hits the elbow, you have this small piece of his arm, so you can articulate it however you want. And now it looks like the hands have been changed from the original release. They're a little bit more solid, but you can still turn them into the iconic upright position, which is how I display mine. It just looks more Shin Godzilla to me. So overall, he looks pretty nice. I'm sure he can do similar articulation in terms of bending all the way down like he does in the movie, just like the original guy did. Of course, you do have to be careful with this mid portion here because you don't want to break it and force it into a position that it shouldn't be in. Plus, one bummer that I learned with the original Monster Arts release is that the paint chips very, very easily with these guys, so you really do have to be careful. Of course, he looks kind of awkward like this because he has a really big gap between dorsal plates, like a full finger gap, but there's really nothing you can do to fix that. I was actually able to get the head to open quite a bit more in terms of the mouth, so there you can see it fully opened up, and now he's ready to release the atomic breath, just without the split jaw. The rest of his body, you got the same leg movement as you did on the first figure, so I'm not really going to mess around with it too much because there's no point. And then the tail is the same, you got lots of articulation in the tail so that you can pose it in all sorts of crazy positions. So that you can get him firing his tail right where his head is. Let me get him in frame there. He looks really awkward because I have him bent over really weird. Now, his dorsal fins do appear to be much more solid than the original ones were, and that's crazy because the original ones are rock hard. So what I mean by that is they appear to be more set in place, which makes it a little bit more fragile, so you have to be careful because they can easily be knocked off and broken and chipped. So the dorsal plates are a big concern in my opinion when it comes to this figure because they're super breakable. In terms of paint application, I don't really see any problems with this, any sloppy paint. I think everything that's on here looks the way it should look. I don't actually see any problems with the paint. However, as we had all problems with the original figure, I would like some more red. They did appear to go back and add some more red into the leg area, so there is more red in this figure than there was with the first release, but of course the prototype did look a lot better. The only potential problem I can see with paint application on this figure is maybe Godzilla's palm. It looks like there's some red paint on his palm. I'm not sure if that's movie accurate or not, so I might have to go back and double check just to make sure, but there's paint all over his palm, red paint, so I don't know. But it does look like they listened and they did seemingly fix some of the problems we all had with the original release, which is good. Now, I don't know, my tail might be stiff right now still, but it feels to me like it just doesn't have as much range of motion as the original one did. I know it's all the same articulation points, but it feels to me like they were maybe put in place a little more sturdy than the first one was, so they don't really bend as much. But there he is with his tail wrapped around. If I can get the tail close enough to where the camera will focus in on it and not me, that'd be great. Oh, there it goes. So you can see there's a lot of detail with the tail. I'm gonna try and get it so that you can see the face sculpt in the tail, but it doesn't really want to focus in on that. There you go. Can't really see it, but there you go. That's the best I can do. Now, in terms of accessories, you do have your beam stands in this bag, and your beam, you have your beam stands in this bag, and the actual prop up for it in this bag, and then you have your 2 accessory pieces up here. I'm not going to take those out because they're translucent and I don't want to lose them. But for effects, you have a really cool looking base for your new atomic breath. It looks pretty crazy if I do say so myself. It's very transparent in person. You can't really see that very well in the video, but the base of it does look a little weird. But I'm not going to be displaying it in anywhere where you're going to see the base. Now, there's not too much detail with it. It's just kind of this smoke ring around this fire ring around a smoke ring, but it's pretty sweet. And then, of course, you have your fire beam, which looks really nice. Very, very translucent as well, with some nice dark patches for smoke. And then you're, of course, going to usually angle it down, probably because most people are going to make it movie accurate. And so, of course, the atomic beam goes into the fire beam goes into the, don't want to drop it, goes into the stand like that. But if you do want to display it in some weird position, they do have a port for you to stick your stand into. The accessory tail looks pretty nice. Here it is up in front of the camera. I'm probably not going to display with this tail because it's not movie accurate. There's no face in the tail, at least not a living one. But here it is. Looks pretty nice. So you guys can see the big open smiley mouth. Of course my camera doesn't focus, so I might as well just hold it way out here where you can't see any detail, right? Because my camera's not going to listen to what I want it to do. But it does look pretty cool. It'd actually be cool if you could open and close the jaw on this tail, but you can't. Now for your main beam effect, you have these nice thin purple lines, which is great, very movie accurate. They kind of turn white towards the middle, and they are purple. The lighting might be throwing it off, but you can't really see that well on the camera. One of them is very fine pointed on mine, which I feel like is probably going to chip. The other one feels like it's already maybe chipped, or maybe it's just this kind of flat edge. Again, you can't see it, but this one has a flat edge where this one has a very pointed edge. So either this one's chipped already, but I don't see where the rest of the piece would be. There's no like chipped portion anywhere. And then this one's fine. I don't think the rattling around inside was that piece. I think it was these kind of smacking up against each other and making me a little nervous. But there you can see the tail firing the beam or whatever. For the split jaw alternate head, here it is. Of course, I'm not going to put it on my figure. Why would I? Now, the top part of his head came off with relative ease, but the bottom jaw just will not come off at all. So I'll catch back up with you. Here's the normal head. Looks cool. Now, here's the thing. I don't really have anything that distinguishes the two heads for me. They both look pretty identical. The only difference is one of the eyes, this head's eyes are completely solid white, and this head has normal eyes with pupils and everything else, so it looks a little bit more normal. This is the one when he has the membrane come over, so that's how I can tell the difference. But one of them is supposed to be translucent, and I don't really have a translucent head. The only difference is the inside of his mouth is translucent, but one of the heads was actually supposed to be translucent, and neither of mine are. Or at least some people had a translucent head, and I don't, so I don't know what the deal is. But this one appears to have a little bit of a purple shine to it, whereas this one doesn't. But anyways, I'm going to catch back up to you when I can get a blow dryer and kind of take that jaw off. Okay, wow, that was a big ordeal. It took me like 20 minutes, 25 minutes to finally get this guy out. I did heat up and loosen one of his knees as well. I'm hoping that it goes back into a normal position and isn't just this loose, but it it was kind of like painted, glued in place, so I couldn't move it at all. So I did have to heat it up and get it moving, and then everything else kind of went with it. I heated up the tail as well so that it could move a little better. Not that I want to move it too much, because the underside of the tail paint chips very easily, as I saw with my other Shin Godzilla. I got this tip of the tail off and got the head off, so now I can swap them out. So this is the Atomic Breath head. I can stick this one on. I actually think I'm going to put the bottom jaw on first. So when I took this bottom jaw off, it appears, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this very well on the camera, but this big fat thing is supposed to look like that. So it appears I have to find a way to get this big fat part off and put it back into this jaw, because currently this jaw has one of those big fat things already in it, and I can't put one on the other. It just doesn't work. So I'm gonna figure out some way to get that off. Oh my gosh, literally an hour. Literally, I spent an hour getting this done. All right, there he is. There he is with this split jaw and his new head with the white blanked out eyes. Will open his mouth all the way so you can really get the actual effect. Looks really good, actually. I think it looks pretty cool. This is how I'm going to have him displayed, probably. Well, this is how I'm going to have him displayed. But the question is, will I ever find a use for this bottom jaw again? Answer, probably not. And here's why. It's more trouble than it's worth. What happened is, you saw, I took this bottom jaw off, and the black part inside got stuck on the ball joint. And I had to, basically I spent an hour getting that undone and getting it back in here. But I took that time, got everything good. The tail's still, I didn't put the other tail on yet, but here's the little ring socket that goes around the tail, so we can slip that right on, like so. Just slip that right on. And then you can get the purple tail and just put that on. Pairing the two side by side, you can really tell which one the purple Atomic Breath tail is. But when you actually look at them in person, this one is not red. It's not. It looks red in pictures and video, but it is purple. Both of them are purple. You can really see the mouth on this one as opposed to this one, mainly because this one's probably trying to be movie accurate. I don't know how many times I'm gonna keep saying that throughout this video. But I'm gonna put the Atomic Breath tail on just to see how it looks. You have got to be kidding me. Alright, I'm gonna go warm this up and then I'll be back. Finally! Alright, finally got everything together. There he is. Mouth all open, jaw all extended, atomic tail on. This is how I'm gonna have him displayed, so I'm just gonna leave him like this. Looks great. Looks great. Alright, let's get him all bent over. Joints are all nice and loose. Loosey-goosey. Man, that thing bends super far. There he is, all bent over. This foot or leg is really loose. Like, really. Like, as in it fell off like 4 or 5 times. It fell off twice. So there he is, breathing this fire, looking awesome. It looks really cool. There he is, shooting his beam. Looks pretty sweet. So here's the thing everyone's going to be waiting for, the comparison. Who's the better figure? This guy. I like this guy a lot better. That's going to surprise some people. Every review I've seen has said this one is better than the original. Here's the problem. My original doesn't have a bad paint job. I know it's hard to see on the camera, but mine is kind of a dull black paint color, just like the movie, and he's actually got quite a bit of red worked throughout his whole body. Overall, he's very well painted in terms of comparison to other guys' figures. Now this one's legs are much better detailed, there's a lot more red in them, and they just look better than this one's legs. Overall, I'd say in terms of chest area, this Godzilla actually has the better chest paint. This Godzilla should have a much more purple chest paint, but it more has just a purple gloss. You really don't have a lot of detail with the paint, whereas I've seen other people do. So I guess the real difference is, most people had a terrible Godzilla for Shin Godzilla, the original release. They had the very red neck. They really just didn't have a good figure, and in terms of paint. And this one, everyone got a great paint job, and now I have the mediocre paint job, and I'm not mad. I'm not like gonna take my money back or anything. I don't care. That's not a big deal of mine. But what I am saying is that this Godzilla overall, in my opinion, is better. And you can see in the back, this Godzilla just, I think, has a little bit more defined paint going on as opposed to this Godzilla, who's just kind of this pale purple. Tails, though, this Godzilla definitely loses. This Godzilla wins in the tail. The tail just looks better. As opposed to this one. The tail doesn't fall apart as much on this one. The tip of the tail has more detail as opposed to this one, and I like the translucent look to it. The sculpt is nearly identical, so I'm not going to judge the sculpt. I'll just say that overall this head I don't think is, better than this head. I think they're both equal in their own rights. Now, one thing that I hope they really improve on is the bottom of the tail, mostly where the paint chips, because this Godzilla really chips paint. You can see his whole bottom of his tail all chipped up, and you might be like, why is that? Here's why. It's a problem, and I don't want the same thing to happen with this guy when I use him in stop motion videos as well, so I'm gonna have to be really careful. That does it for the video. I'm not gonna rate these guys. I don't know if I have been rating the figures yet. Actually, maybe I have, so I will rate this guy just in case. I'm gonna give him a nonsense rating, just 8 out of 10, not gonna think about it, just gonna give it. Is it worth the price? Depends on how much you pay. This guy I paid for $200. I don't think this guy's totally worth $200. I'd probably, if I had the chance, pay $150 for him, less, between $100 to $200. This guy I paid $300. So this guy, definitely not. This guy's probably worth around $250 max. That's being very generous. But overall, there's my review for, my unboxing and review for Shin Godzilla Awakening version. And then I got the, here's the normal guide too. And I just really am frustrated with the fact that it took me an hour to get this ball joint undone. So whatever, it's nothing, it's not a big deal, but it is a thing. So that does it for this extremely long video. It actually might not be that long, but the overall recording of all the different things that I've done, segments for this video, it's a long video. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time for a more normal video, probably a news video or a discussion video. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. Or maybe it's going to be a review. I don't know. Probably a review now that I think about it. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. D-Man.